everybody, it's Erin Reed, and today we're going to make a card for a card swap, and the card swap is called Just Cards. So there's a whole bunch of us, and there's always a theme every month. I haven't done it the past couple of months because I've been super busy. This month's theme is all about galaxy stars, so I've got a very starry feel, and I'm still on this card with no sentiment. So this is going to be a sentimentless card, which means that it could be used for a bunch of stuff. First thing is I am going to pull out a piece of my burlap, which you can see right here. I actually got this. I've had this for ages. It's really ancient die cuts with a view paper pad that's got burlap pieces in it that are backed. And I don't even know if you can still find this, but if you do not have burlap, and this was a really pretty gray color, you could always take regular burlap and mist it, spray it, color it. It's kind of a cool texture, which I love. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, and because it's kind of a little bit of a different material, I am using my super tight adhesive dual tip max glue pen. I'm going to shift this off and get this on here, and we're going to talk about the star here in a minute. It's kind of a fun story, which I'll get to shortly. So I'm using the other side, which is like a big side, to get that on there, and I really want to make sure that this is solidified and on here before I do my next step, and I just love that look. It reminds me of the cards. I like to do those pre-made cards. It reminds me of the cards that already have the burlap stitched on, and this is just kind of done for me. And then I've put it on the backing of the Nihao white paper, and all the supply links of where you can find everything for supplies I'm using, along with a link for a coupon for the super tight glue is going to be down below, and also the links for everybody else who's in the video hop for their cards. And so you can see their inspiration behind all their versions of their Galaxy Star cards. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I have 2 layers here of the foiled paper from Rinia. This stuff is so cool. Here we have the ebony and the starstruck and the golden starstruck. And then I already had a pre-die cut star from when I made my embellishment swap. I actually had die cut a whole bunch of stars, and I did it right alongside with doing, this is in a star mode recently, when I did my firecrackers, which you can see here. And if you want to see how to make those videos, or that video, it's up on the iCard. And I also made this really cute mask for my kids. This is Brandon's. It's got the B on there for, you know, Superstar Brandon. And this one is Catherine's. They look super cute. Here's a picture of them wearing them. And again, it's using the stars. I'm in a star mode. So I was die cutting felt. I was die cutting the foil. And so this is one piece of the foil that was die cut out, and it's got 2 sides. There's a gold side and there's a black side, and I thought, oh, that would be really paired lovely. And this is the glossy, and this is in the starstruck. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to measure what I feel I need to cut this down to the right height. So it's going to be the height of my card, and I have you notice I trimmed this down. The height of the card right here on the burlap is 5 1/4, and I'm going to go that full height. So I'm going to start with a 1.5 inch strip. Now it's going to be too wide. Let's do, for some reason, 1 1/4 seems to be about the right width whenever I'm dealing with strips. There we go. So this is a 1 1/4. I'm just going to test it. Yeah. For this size of card, if I go anything wider than 1 1/4, it looks funny for just like a nice strip banner. So that's what I'm going to go with. And then this piece is going to fit on top, which will look super cute. And we're going to get back to that in a minute. You're actually not going to see much of the black. So I'm going to take another strip, exactly the same thing, the 1 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. All right, so basically what we're going to do is I'm taking my gold strip and I'm going to place it right over top of my black. But I'm going to punch stars out of it. So I'm going to take this little star punch. I know it's not the exact same size as the other star that I have on here. And I'm going to randomly punch stars, full stars. Kind of come in the middle, go on the sides. It's just a fun little something. Just really get in there, randomly punch some stars all over. Little star it up. There it is. And because this is an off-size star punch, notice that they're all kind of a little bit wonky shaped. I definitely could save these for something, so I might push these off to the side because those are really pretty. But it definitely works. So now I'm going to come in, well, sorry, the wonky size star, I could fit more in here than if it was a perfect star like this one. So it's kind of neat that it's got that case. All right, now I'm going to come in with the other side of my super tight glue. We just got a fine tip, and I'm just going to come in and add little bits here and there. Don't want to over glue it. Just kind of adding a little bit of glue here and there. Just like that. And then I'm going to lay this right over top. Just right over top. Whoops, there we go. Lay this down right over top of the black foil. Just like that. So you don't even see the black foil. And I've got a little room to groove before this sets perfectly. There we go. And now you can kind of see that it's like poking through, which I think is just so pretty. I love that feel. So it's just kind of hanging out there, right? Okay, next step is I'm going to get a white button. And the reason for the white button is because I want to bring a little bit of that white, which is in the background of the back, or I could pull a gray. I don't want to do any more gold or black because it's just too much, but I really want to pull a white because I love that feel. And this is how I store my buttons. And I want to get a white that looks true white. So when it's up against the card, it looks really good. And I don't want a tiny button either. I want a good size one. I mean, this, ooh, I like that one. It's got a little bit of a something action. It's really, truly white. Some of these, I categorize all my buttons. This is how I store them. Sometimes I'll go through and I'll decorate up the jars. I actually had a video of taking some old, these are just Old Spice jars, and decorating them up because, you know, why not? Let's have some fun and dress up a spice jar. And I store my buttons. I store lots of small little embellishments in jars because they're nice and small. They fit in a lot of different storage, whatever kind of drawers or storage. They tend to fit really nicely in there. And I can also see what's inside of them because they're clear, especially if you take the labels off of them. So this is an old glass one. And I did, sometimes I'll write the labels, but I'll switch out the jars quite a bit. But how I can see, I can kind of poke through. You know, it's just easy. So it's one of the best things I like to do with that. All right, to pull in a little bit more of the gray again, this was a little bit of the section that was left over from this part of the card. And I literally just pulled part of a burlap section. So just like this, I just pulled a section out, and now I have the perfect match of the burlap twine to go into my button. And so I'm going to come in, I think, how do I do that again? I got to go down, yeah. So I got to go down. Is this right? I always second guess myself when I do this. Yes. So I'm actually going to like stitch this on here in a way. I'm going to go halfway because this is a 4 button. I got to go down first, and then I got to come up another side each. And I only need 1 strand. And this is the perfect amount. So here is that. I don't need all this other stuff. And then tie myself a little knot. So just leaving it simple like that, just a little something there. So it looks like you've been sewed on. If you wanted to, and I have done this quite a bit, you could technically sew this through here, but I'm just not in the mood today. All right. Next stage is I'm going to take my strip, which I'm going to place right along there. And again, take my glue. This time I'm going to flip this the other way around and apply glue on the back side of here. Just get it on there. I like using both sides depending on which, what piece I'm attaching. And since I have a piece of burlap and I'm attaching a foil, I want something a little bit more sturdy than just a basic tape runner because I'm afraid it would come loose. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to attach my star. I want my star right about here. I'm just going to kind of look, and then I want my button a little bit off centered, and that's it. So now I'm going to come in with my glue on this side and just apply glue. Make sure I hit the tips, and I'm going to have the black side pop to add a little bit more dimension. So here's the black side. Just pop that. Add some glue in the center here. Really make sure I get it kind of all over the button so it gives it a little bit more stability. And then I don't want to completely center it on my card. I just want to off center that button. So I was just kind of playing around with the idea of doing a bow, and I think I like the idea of the bow. So I've just taken a section, I've done a bunny ear, a tiny bow, which means I'm going to come in I'm not altering, I'm going to use my smaller fine tip scissors for this. I'm not altering where the placement of my, cut the trim off of these, of where my button is. I'm just trimming off those little tails. I wanted to see if it would work. And sometimes, even though you're thinking, nah, it's not going to work, it can't hurt to try it, because then you're like, oh, yeah, it does work. I know this tail is too long, so I'm going to snip this to even it up. There we go. And then I am just going to glue this on with that same glue. It just ties in a little bit more of what's happening here. So pull it up, add a blob of glue. This will also help solidify whatever's in there. So technically I wouldn't have to do all the different layers on my button because I'm just adding the bow on top. I did a little too much on there, but that's okay. I kind of like that better. So I decided to change up the bow. The last one I did was just a little bit too tiny, but it was the same process. So I just pulled another strand, a full strand. I think I did a half strand, and I just made my bow a little bit bigger. I'm going to kind of tweak the ears. I want the tails a little bit longer. And I just like the feel of this one better. So I just reapplied a tiny bit more glue, which is now sticking to my finger. And there it is. Super, super simple. So thanks so much for stopping by. Don't forget to check out the links for the supplies below, and also the other people that are in the video blog hop for the Just Cards hop for all of our galaxy and star related cards. And I will see you guys again soon. Please subscribe. Bye-bye.